Today we're talking about how your student can win up to $27,395 in federal aid and scholarships. Why is that such a specific number? Well, this is because this is the most amount or the highest amount of money a student could receive in federal aid. Now, don't get confused and don't think, okay, that is the only amount that my child could receive for college in scholarships. This is just federal aid, right? Remember that there are 4 types of financial aid and scholarships for college. Is federal aid, which we will talk about right now. There's institutional scholarships, which those are institutional aid awards, scholarships, grants awarded by colleges and universities. There's also private aid and scholarships. It's our 3rd type of financial aid for college. And finally, there is state aid. But today I'm going to be talking about federal aid and how your child can win the most amount of federal aid possible, right? What are the steps that they can take in order to maximize their odds of receiving the most federal aid? And how does one even acquire or have the opportunity to get access to this financial aid? Because the one thing about federal aid, it's not just randomly granted to students. There are applications, there are systems and processes that students should follow in order to have access to this financial aid. Just honestly, like every type of financial aid and scholarships has its own process. Even institutional aid, which is the financial aid and scholarships that are awarded by colleges and universities themselves. Students have to apply to the college. Sometimes there are even some institutional aid and scholarships that have their own applications. Colleges literally ask students to write an essay. Some of them will require students to have a specific GPA, to have a specific SAT or ACT score. If it's an athletic institutional scholarship, students have to go through the recruitment process if they want to play a sport in that college and university, etc. But today we are talking about federal scholarships and how to access them. Alrighty, so before we begin, a little overview about who I am. My name is Laura Cantu. I am from BestCollegeAid. I am a co-founder of BestCollegeAid, and I was able to win a full ride scholarship for college here in the United States of America. I received over $200,000 in scholarships and financial aid for college. And nowadays, in the present day, I, along with my siblings, with my family, we started BestCollegeAid, and we help parents send their children to college with scholarships. Over the past 4 years, almost 4 years, we have helped families and students get accepted into incredible institutions. We have helped them navigate the college admissions process and get accepted into their top choice schools, the right schools for them that have allowed them to go to college debt-free, right? So in the past year, we had students get accepted into schools such as Emory, Georgetown. We had a student get into Northwestern with a full ride. We had a student get into the University of Florida, UT Austin, NYU, and other incredible institutions. So those are just some of the schools that our students got accepted into this past year. And right now we're in the middle of application season. We have students who are sending in their applications. As a matter of fact, it's almost November, which means early action, early decisions, all those early application deadlines are coming up. So if you want to learn, if you have a child that's in senior year and you have no idea what I'm talking about, we do have a free training in the link in my bio, in this video's description, underneath this video, where we go more in depth with college applications, scholarships. So if you want to learn more, make sure that you check out that free training, additional to all the information that I am sharing in this presentation right now, because we do want to give you guys the most resources as possible so that you can learn the most information before the time comes when your student has to be applying for college, right? Which is what basically students who are currently seniors in high school, that process that they're going through, right? So right now, usually it's October. Right around now, the FAFSA should, in other years, in past years, the federal application for student aid should have already been open, right? The FAFSA, because usually it opens on October 1st. But things are different this year. There's a new FAFSA form. As a matter of fact, we just released this in this past few days, a free tutorial, a step-by-step tutorial and demo where David goes over how to fill out the new FAFSA. So if you want to check that out, it's here on YouTube. So if you want to check out that tutorial, make sure that you subscribe to our channel and you check it out. If you have a student who is currently a senior and has to fill out that form, we did do a tutorial. So I just wanted to let you guys know about that because it is a very, very good tutorial that you can use to understand and to see how to fill out that form. That's coming out not on October 1st because October 1st already passed. And this year, things are different. The FAFSA will be available in December of 2023. So there's still about a month, over a month left, but it's important to know that. And because this also pertains and has a lot to do with federal aid. Right, so federal aid, I just want to share a little statistic with you. I want to warn you and I want to advise to not leave any money behind. In 2022, NCAN reported that $3.6 billion in Pell Grants went unclaimed. So this is not the first year, oops, I hit the microphone. This is not the first year something like this happens. Unfortunately, a lot of students who graduate from high school in the past few years, and specifically in 2022, leave around $3 billion in Pell Grants. Every year is different, but in 2022, it was $3.6 billion. This money went unclaimed because students, they either decided not to complete the FAFSA or they submitted it, but they submitted it after the deadline. They submitted it with a lot of maybe empty answers. The answers were incorrect, so they couldn't have been awarded this Pell Grants, these financial aid and scholarships. So it's important to not leave any money behind. And a lot of people have also, the reason why this money also went unclaimed is a lot of people have this misconception that maybe because they only have one child in their family, or both parents work, or I don't know, maybe the student has a job and they earn a lot of money, or they have a good job and they've had a job all through high school, and for all these reasons they're not going to fill out the FAFSA because they're not going to receive any federal aid and scholarships. And this is another misconception that has led and leads people every year to not complete this form and not receive federal aid and scholarships. I do want to warn you, and I do want to advise you to still fill out the FAFSA, because even if your child, does not receive any federal aid and scholarships, remember that the federal aid is not the only type of financial aid and scholarships available in the United States. I talked about institutional aid, I talked about state aid, and I talked about private aid and scholarships. There's a lot of colleges, if not all colleges and universities, are going to require students to submit the FAFSA or the CSS profile. So it's important that your child is still, in order to receive institutional aid. And some states even use the FAFSA to award state scholarships. So it's not just about federal aid. I am obviously bringing it up and talking about it right now because we're talking about federal aid and scholarships, but it's always important to fill out this form, not only because you could be one of these people who did not claim their Pell Grants, or you could miss out on institutional aid and state scholarships. Now, moving on to the next topic. How does a student earn $27,395 in federal aid? Well, the first step is students have to create their FSA ID. And it's not only students, it's parents and students, because when completing the FAFSA, students and parents who do qualify for federal aid and have to fill out the FAFSA. There's going to be a section, and I will break that down in just a second, which like the little sections, the different sections inside of FAFSA. But parents, if the student is applying as a dependent, the parent or guardian and the student both have to create an FSA ID. Step number 2 is to complete the new FAFSA and the CSS profile, only if the universities do require the CSS profile, because as you may or may not know, not every college will require the CSS profile. Almost every college will require the FAFSA, okay? Step number 3 is going to be send the FAFSA form, the completed form, to the universities on the student's list. So the schools that the student is planning to and wants to apply to. And step number 4 is going to be to make sure that the parents complete their portion of the FAFSA and the CSS profile. Again, I will go over what each section of the new FAFSA, like how many sections and subsections each parent and student section has, so you understand. But I do want to remind you, we just published here on YouTube, and I will show you what the video looks like, a demo where we go over step by step how to complete the FAFSA. So don't miss it out. It's right here. I'll share my screen with you guys so that you can see. And maybe if you have a child in senior year of high school, you can see this video and you can use it to fill out your FAFSA. Here it is the new 2024-2025 FAFSA walkthrough step-by-step tutorial. David did it. Is amazing. It's a little lengthy, but we did it so that you could understand how to fill out this form that can oftentimes be a little bit overwhelming. It can be a little bit stressful, but if you want to have a guide on how to fill that out, we will have, this is just a demo that David did watching the Federal Student Aid's walkthrough demo. But once the actual form does come out in December, our members inside of BestCollegeAid are going to have access to a more personalized, a more detailed, and honestly not as long demo where we go over how to fill out this form. And also we will also share strategies on how to maximize financial aid and scholarships, but that's just going to be available for BestCollegeAid members. So if you want to have access to that tutorial and all of our other tutorials on how to fill out the FAFSA, how to write a great college essay, how to get accepted into college with scholarships, how to create a college list, etc., make sure that you take advantage of our Halloween sale. Again, if you want to be a member of BestCollegeAid, the time is now. We have an ongoing Halloween sale. Not ongoing, it ends tomorrow. So if you want to take advantage before the time runs out, take advantage of our spooky Halloween sale. The link is in this video's description, and you can have access to our BestCollegeAid membership that is for you and your family, because it is a family membership, and you will have access to all of the amazing benefits inside of our course for life, you and your family, from the moment that they start high school till the moment that they graduate, and even after, you can still have access to the course. Alrighty? All right, so let's keep going. That is how you basically will have the opportunity to earn federal aid, right? By creating an FSA ID and basically filling out the FAFSA form. It's important to know that the new 2024-2025 FAFSA form will be available in December. It's usually available in October, but this year things are different. Actually, now let's talk about the changes to the FAFSA and what they include. These include an expanded participation requirements for federal student aid. So the requirements are going to be more broad. When the FAFSA, when the federal government is reviewing a parent's application, the FAFSA form, their requirements are going to be expanded. It's going to be a little bit more broad than it was before. So this could maximize the odds of getting financial aid and scholarships. Another change is that it's going to be a more simplified process. Before, the FAFSA used to have approximately 108 questions, and now it's going to go down to approximately 36 questions, which makes it shorter, makes it easier to fill out, and it decreases the room for error, right? So that is always a good thing, because unfortunately, back to that article in the beginning of the presentation, a lot of people were leaving money on the table, not being able to access federal aid and scholarships, not even because they were not filling out the FAFSA, but because they were filling it out incorrectly. So it's important to fill it out correctly. And also, it's going to have, the new FAFSA is going to have access to a tool where students and parents can transfer their data from the IRS to the FAFSA automatically. So that's also going to make it much more easier, and it's going to, again, leave very little room for error because that information is going to be transferred from the parents or guardians, IRS form, so tax information that is going to be transferred very just like automatically. So it's not going to be students and parents having to input manually numbers, and that's where a lot of the mistakes happened, or they were putting in or inputting numbers that were for one thing in a column that wasn't for that. So it was just, they were getting confused, and a lot of people were just making a lot of mistakes and missing out on financial aid and scholarships. So this is going to simplify the process and leave little to no room for error. All right, so what are the types of federal aid, right? I already talked about the Pell Grant, which students could receive up to $7,395 in Pell Grants. There are direct loans, which is around $12,500. There's work study, which students could receive up to $5,000 in work study. And there are federal tax credits, right? So though I want you to focus on the Pell Grant and also work study, but Pell Grant, just to clarify the difference between a grant and a loan. A grant is money that is granted that does not have to be paid back. Loans do have to be paid back. But federal loans are not bad loans. In fact, they are usually the healthier loans because usually they have no interest rate, or the interest rate that they do have is very low, and it doesn't oftentimes it doesn't start acquiring until after the student graduates from college. So they tend to be the healthier loans. A lot of private loans, private companies, banks that have student loans, the reason why we really advise against it and why you really should stay clear from these type of loans is, number one, and the most obvious one, these interest rates are so high. And also and oftentimes they start acquiring from the moment that the student takes out that loan. So not only is the student taking out, I don't know, sometimes $10,000, $20,000 in private loans, but that interest rate is already started from the moment that the student signs and gets approved for that loan. So don't get scared, don't be discouraged, or if the student were to have to take out a loan for college, the best loan, or one of the best loans to take, would be federal aid loans because, again, they are the healthier loans. And also, usually we do, if one of our students has to take out maybe like $3,000 in federal student loans, that's not a high loan. Like, that's something that could be paid back quite easily as compared to a $50,000 loan from a private bank, from TD Bank or from Citibank. I don't know, depends on what bank you're using. There might be some private loans that are healthier, that the interest rate is not as high, but it's really hard to find those. So don't be scared and don't be discouraged if you do end up seeing in your students, once they fill out the FAFSA and maybe they get a financial aid award package and you see that they are approved for federal loans. This doesn't mean that they have to take it either. A lot of parents will get their students college application, they get accepted, and then they receive their financial aid package and they see federal unsubsidized loan and they freak out. They're like, oh, we never approved this. Sometimes, when students get approved for federal loans, they have the choice to either accept it or reject it. So that's another thing. Don't freak out if your child gets accepted, receives their college application, their financial aid package, and it says, oh, federal unsubsidized loans, that could help cover their cost of tuition, cost of attendance. That is just an option that the federal government is giving you, right? But ideally, the one thing that you would like to receive from the federal government is grants, all right? So Pell Grants, there's work study as well, which I will go over just quickly in case you don't know what the work study program is. I had work study program, my siblings had a work study program, and a lot of our students inside of BestCollegeAid have it. Basically what it is students who are under the work study program, they get access to priority and to be able to have a job on campus that helps them pay for their education. Some students are, well, so basically colleges have jobs inside the campus, right? You could either work in the cafeteria, you can work in the library. I worked for the Marist poll. So I literally worked there only one semester because my second semester, and actually for the rest of my college career, except for senior year of college, I was a resident assistant. And that was the best job that I could have had in terms of money. It was an incredible job because at least at my school, and a lot of colleges do this, if you're a resident assistant at the university, usually it will come with some form of housing package where housing is covered, or you don't have to pay for room and board, and maybe you will have a meal plan. So that's exactly what happened with me. I was the RA. It covered all of my housing, and it also gave me a meal plan every semester. But since my financial aid packages and scholarships and my institutional scholarships, which I had a theater scholarship from my school, were so high, I literally ended up with leftover money my sophomore and junior year of college. So it was obviously a very demanding job. I'm not saying that you should just apply for it. It's a job that you really have to dedicate time to, and it's not as easy as it sounds because you are in charge of fellow students. You have to be very mature, blah, 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 blah. But it was a job that ultimately helped me pay for college or just have funds and not be stressed about money. And it's a good job that a lot of students get. And it's not only for students who have are under the what's it called, the work study program, but it definitely does help to have work study because schools will prioritize students when looking at or when opening positions for students to like job positions for students. They will prioritize students who are under work study, and they will help them find a job that fits them, that helps them, and that's going to be the right fit. And being part of work study basically facilitates that process, and it allows students to have a part-time job and use that money for whatever. Sometimes students who have full rides, they will just use that money personally, and sometimes students who need a little bit extra cash for books, need a little bit of extra cash for, travel or just personal expenses, will use that money that they receive from work study programs, from basically having a job on campus. Alrighty? All right, so I do want to talk about our new FAFSA tutorial, which is, there's going to be two. Again, our official BestCollegeAid FAFSA walkthrough that's just for members will be available in December once the form is available. It's open. This is going to cover how to complete the FAFSA, how to transfer data from the IRS, strategies to maximize aid, and access to supporting questions. So our members, once they have access to this step-by-step tutorial and demo, you will have access to our help. If you're stuck in a question, if you have issues, if you're having any problems, you can message us. You can post on our private Facebook community exclusive for members, and we can guide you through this specific part of the process or any part of the process, because that's an advantage. That's something that you have when you become a member of BestCollegeAid. Now, moving on to breaking down the new FAFSA. There's a student section and there is going to be a parent section. For the student section, there's 5 subsections, or 5 sections inside the student section. There's going to be the personal circumstances section, which is the first one, the demographics, the student's finances, the student's colleges and universities that the student is applying to, where basically the parents and the student, when filling it out, have to fill out and list all the schools that the child is applying to and that this sending an application to. So it's important to have a college list and to know what schools the student is going to be applying to when completing the FAFSA, so that you can list them in that portion of the student section of the FAFSA. And then finally, there's going to be a review and sign section where parents and students have to basically do an overview, and they have to make sure that all the information that was submitted, that was listed, was filled properly, right? It's correct. Now, there is, again, also a parent section. This is a section, like the name suggests, that is for the parents to fill out. And this is just going to consist of 3 portions. There is the demographics section, the finances, and again, review and sign. For the finances, that's one of the portions, and also for the students. But that's where the IRS data retrieval tool is going to come into play, because that is where automatically parents can retrieve that data and basically do like an autofill and just review that all the information is filled out correctly. So that's another thing that would make the process much more easier and faster. Alrighty, so that was the student and parent section of the FAFSA. Now, I do want to advise, or I do want to let you know that if you happen to fill out the 2023-2024 FAFSA, if you accidentally filled it out and your student is a senior in high school because you didn't know that this year the FAFSA opens on December, don't worry, you can still fill out the actual 2024-2025 form. All you have to do is to log into your studentaid.gov account to make sure that all the emails are up to date and with the FSA ID. And then once the form is available in December, you will fill it out and you will send it out. Okay, so just wanted to let you guys know that it's okay if you sent out the wrong form, the 2023-2024, which is the one that if you go into the FAFSA website, that's the one that you're going to see. But don't worry, if you did send that, you can still send out the 2024-2025 form, okay? Alrighty. So moving on, I do want to talk about the CSS profile real quick. So the CSS profile is a form that's a little different, but basically it's also a financial aid form while all colleges that award federal financial aid accept or require the FAFSA to award federal institutional aid, only about 400 colleges and universities and some scholarship programs use and require the CSS profile. Now, if the school that your child is applying to does require the CSS profile, make sure that your child sends it. Make sure that you and your child submit it, because it should be a team work, a team effort filling out these financial aid forms, because a lot of the information, unless the student is applying as a dependent, which is not the case, it doesn't tend to be the case. Most of the time, students are going to be applying as dependents. So they're going to be needing information from their parents, federal tax credits, federal tax forms, tax returns, etc. So it's important that parents, you're helping your students fill out these forms, right? So the CSS profile tends to award more than $10 billion in financial aid and scholarships for students in institutional scholarships. So it's important to fill out this form. This form, as opposed to the FAFSA, it's already open. It's been available since October 1st. And the deadlines, again, not unlike the FAFSA, the deadlines for the CSS profile do vary. So depending on the college that the student is applying to, some schools might have different deadlines for the CSS profile to be completed. So it's important to check whether or not the school that your child is applying to does require the CSS profile, and if it does, when the deadline is, because it should be submitted before the deadline, obviously, because you don't want to miss out on the chance of receiving institutional scholarships. And the schools that do require the CSS profile, are asking for this form in order to be able to award institutional aid and scholarships. We do have a new CSS profile tutorial that Francisco, my brother, who sometimes does these live streams, he uploaded and he created a few weeks ago. And this tutorial, we go over how to complete the CSS profile, some strategies to maximize financial aid and scholarships, and our members also get access to some questions, to some resources when filling out this form. So if you want to have access to this and all of the other amazing resources inside of our BestCollegeAid membership, take advantage of our Halloween sale. Again, it's not only about the tutorials. As you can see on the screen, we have different subsections inside of our BestCollegeAid membership. We have a high school student prep section, everything that the child should be doing in high school to prepare for the college admissions process, and athletic scholarships. And we have any athletes, any parents of student athletes who wish to go to college and receive an athletic scholarship. We have a life in college section where we go over how to find, a good job, how to budget for college, how to get a good credit card for college that is going to be appropriate for a student. How to transfer those AP, IB credits to college, so maybe this university can accept those credits and the student can go into college with those credits and save thousands of dollars in classes, and they don't have to take classes because they already took them in high school. We obviously have middle school student prep. That is our first portion of our membership. We have a section dedicated to avoiding student loans and understanding financial aid. And this is just a part of all the amazing benefits inside of BestCollegeAid membership. We also have resources such as discounts on all these AP Crash Core booklets. And we also have all of our students get access to a free ACT Prep Plus online account for students and parents to prepare for the ACT. We also have an a free SAT Online Prep Plus account for students to prepare for the SAT or the SAT, depending on which exam the student decides to focus on. So those are just some of the many benefits. We also, on this past Friday, we had our monthly live Q&A session with our members only, where we sit down for an hour and a half via Zoom, and it's only our members have access to this secret or this private Zoom session. And our parents literally ask us questions and we answer them live via Zoom, and we answer their questions in a one-on-one manner, more personalized manner. So that's another benefit that you would get access to if you decided to join BestCollegeAid today and take advantage of our Halloween sale. It's a one-time payment, $497. This is a 50% off. So usually BestCollegeAid is costs $997, but with this discount you would only have to pay $497, and that's the only payment that you would have to do for the rest of your life to get access to this BestCollegeAid family membership, if that is what you want to get access to. It's also you also have the option to do a 3 monthly payments of $197. So if you do want to do that, that's another option. But take advantage of this Halloween sale. It's a great resource. It's a great way for your student and you and your family, honestly, to successfully plan for college. And it's an affordable way to do so. We know that usually college planning can be inaccessible, whether it is because if a private college counselor can charge up to $10,000 for students to get advising, and sometimes in their own high schools, the high school college counselor oftentimes it's not that they don't want to help their students, but the problem is that they don't have the resources to do so. So we decided to create BestCollegeAid to basically give the best of both worlds, to make college planning accessible, and to give all the resources to the students so that they are equipped and they are ready to when it comes to applying to college, to apply to the schools that are the right fit for them, the schools that are going to give them the most financial aid and scholarships as possible. So if you want to get access to Best College Aid, and if you want to have a more personalized and more hands-on experience and a more step-by-step program, take advantage of our Halloween sale. Again, it's in this video's description. That is everything that I have for you today. I know that we talked a lot and that was a lot of information, but I hope that it was helpful, and I hope that you liked this video. Make sure to follow us in all of our social media channels. Our name is BestCollegeAid USA on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. So if you want to get access to all of our social media and all of the content that we post on those social media platforms, make sure to follow us. All right. My name is Laura Cantu. I hope you enjoyed this presentation, and I hope you have a wonderful day. And if you do decide to take advantage of the Halloween sale, I'll see you inside the course. Have a wonderful night. Bye, guys.